And my heart goes boom, body boom, body boom, body boom, body boom, body boom, body boom. Sophia Loren, anybody? I think it was Peter Sellers. I love that song. How are you? There is such a striking contrast in the timelines available between AI, we have artificial intelligence being pushed and pushed, and then we have a return to our natural, authentic selves. The nature of being in the Gaia experience. I've done many videos on the illusion that to be spiritual means to be perfect and to have this very wealthy, perfection dripping life with everything happening at your command. And that is the biggest myth and illusion that we've ever been sold. So we also have this spiritual ego that some purport to be their true self. There's also a lot of copycats, people who steal other people's information and message, or let's just say there's a lot of plagiarism going on in the spiritual community. I have always felt drawn to creating something that is from my interpretation of channeling source. So whether it be my paintings, my jewelry, my meditations, my YouTube content, I don't see the point in regurgitating someone else's unique message. Now, I'm not about preventing anyone from spreading the good news, because if there's a good message and if there's a love-filled message, a peaceful message, of course we should share that. We should care about that. We should shout it from the rooftops. But there seems to be this strange phenomena, especially in young people. I see a lot of young people cloning each other. Like they're literally afraid to have something outside of what is deemed fashionable, trendy, a mood, okay? It's obviously part of getting older that you start to see these things. I love young people. I work with a lot of young people. What saddens me is that there is this fear of actually expressing yourself, having your own voice, saying it the way you would say it, singing your own song, marching to the beat of your own drum. I just see a world full of Kardashian-like plastic-infused people who are terrified of actually uncovering who they really are. Which is why you're here. You are here to be you, to bring that unique blueprint and to express that and to be seen and to be comfortable in your own skin. Now, we all have our insecurities and we all look to others for inspiration. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about becoming codependent on being told what music to listen to, what clothes to wear, how to look, how to act, how to speak, how to react, what to think. In artificial intelligence, and most people know this now, you are being fed a narrative that feeds whatever you're comfortable with. So we're not being challenged. We're not being encouraged to see things from a different perspective. There is this complacency going on where the algorithms will feed you what you're comfortable with, what you accept, what you believe, what's convenient for you to hear and read or see. There's this brilliant program on RTE, that's Radio Telefís Éireann, Irish for basically Irish TV and radio. And it's a genius idea, and I think it's so needed. And my brother was watching it and he told me about it, and it's called Eating with the Enemy. And it's where psychologists put two people from completely opposing viewpoints on a topic together in a restaurant, and they have dinner and they get to discuss and communicate and share and converse. And it's fantastic because you see people having to look at their set point from another perspective. You see people being exposed to new viewpoints, new perspectives. There is this wonderful old-fashioned good communication going on. And even if, and most of the time they still agree to disagree, everybody comes away from that situation feeling they've learned something, they've gained some new understanding, they found out some abstract concept that maybe it's not so abstract anymore. There's always a creative conglomeration at the end of these discussions, and it's a brilliant program. And somebody I know and I think the world of, I'm sure you're watching right now, he was on it and he was fantastic. And I loved watching how he was able to kindly and generously listen and exchange with this other person who had a very opposing view. And it was just a fascinating discussion, as most of the discussions on this show are really, really brilliant. And I always learn something when I've seen it. So the reason they're bringing this program in is because there's a serious lack of that going on in the world. We've all got so used to having our nests feathered, having everything done for us. There's a serious lack of any inconvenience because the ego hates inconvenience, and we want everything to be feathered and pumped up and artificially inflated and cushioned so that we don't have to face our own mortality. We don't have to experience and embrace the natural changes in nature and in life and in ourselves. We are buffering ourselves from any discomfort or pain or challenge. And I do find it disconcerting. I would like to see young people have a cultural revolution like they did back in the 70s and 80s when the punks came out. And, you know, Dublin and Ireland had a thriving punk scene. And then there was the goths in the 90s who were rebelling against other things. And look, I like to see people express themselves, even if it's just a phase. Like, we all had phases in our youth and our teenage years. But that's part of helping us become who we are. And it's part of life is about expression, and it's tribal and it's primal. And painting your face and piercing your nose. And this is all tribal stuff. This is ancestral. This is expression. It's creative. And I just feel the culture has become very flat. It's become very dull and very one size fits all. And I think that's kind of sad. And that's why, when I make my own jewellery, it's not the most exquisite jewellery in the world. I'm not making it for that purpose. I'm making it because, first of all, I love making it. I love working with my hands. These are healing hands. They need to be used. And I love painting, and I'm certainly not the best painter in the world. I'm not doing it to try and reach some artificial goal of being the best. And when did this become such a culturally accepted thing that parents are pushing their children to? You must be the best. You must be the top piano player in the world, or else you failed. What about the joy of simply playing piano? Like, where's the joy in this, I see this goal obsessed culture, which I think is toxic. Again, where's the joy in being? In my last video, I called it Be Still, Beloved, because there was a need to be still. Everybody's running around, stressed out, freaked out. Allow yourself to be still and to connect with what is unchanging, which is your soul, which is your connection with Source, with God. I'd love to see people who are passionate about saying, this is how I do it. This is how I sing. This is how I talk. This is how I express my God self. We're back in work now in Coolmine Lodge, and it's wonderful. It's just great to see the gang, and if you're watching right now, hello. It's great to see the crew. It's great to be back in that therapeutic community, which I love so much. And I was chatting to one of my colleagues, and she was saying her daughter has a stammer, and she got up on this box thing in the centre of Dublin City, and she did a speech about having a stammer. And I got goosebumps when she was telling me this. This is the kind of stuff I'd like to see more of. And she said, I don't have any problem with how I talk. I don't have a problem with my speech. You're the one who has a problem. If you're telling me how I'm talking is wrong, you're the one who's uncomfortable and has a problem with how I talk. This is how I talk, and I am fine with that. That was empowering. Even hearing that story from, a secondhand perspective was inspiring. The fact that she got out there in front of the whole of Dublin and said, don't tell me I have a problem with who I am, with being myself. So what if she has a stammer? When do we get so obsessed with how it should be? It's like kids little tiny kids who have ears that, protrude. And you have people going, oh, we have to have them cosmetically done, like they need to be pinned back. Like the child can't have ears that stick out a bit. Why not? Why? Who's to say that that's wrong and this is right? And who gets to decide this anyway? Who? What, the fashion magazines? It's ridiculous. Who's decided that looking a certain way is wrong, or having a stammer? Like, who decides this stuff? And well, we know society as a general rule decides it, but we all know that society as a general rule is completely neurotic, is mentally ill, and it's like that crazy character, on the street that your mother always told you, don't trust that person, don't spend time with that person. And yet we indulge in these ridiculous expectations and notions. I remember as a kid being in school, and one of the girls in my class had ears that stuck out. Now, I actually thought she was beautiful because to me, she looked like a fairy. And I've always loved the fairies. I've always had great respect for them. Nadini Maha, as we say in Irish, which means the good people. Years ago in Ireland, we wouldn't say their name directly. You'd always say Nadine Maha, the good people, out of respect. And to me, she was like elfin or fairyish and beautiful. And she was a beautiful girl and she was lovely. I remember her name. I won't say her name. And I remember there was this big thing. She's going to be off school for 2 weeks because she's getting her ears pinned back. And it was like the teacher was in on this, the parents, the kids. Oh, she's having this done so she can look a certain way so we can all applaud her. And when she came back in, we all clapped and we all said how beautiful she looked. And I remember as a kid thinking, this is fucked up. Didn't think it like that, but I was thinking, who decided this and why is she acceptable now? Because she doesn't stand out. Her ears were part of her standing out. In fact, I thought she lost something in her beauty, in her uniqueness, in her look. It's the same when people get their teeth done. I've never had braces or had my teeth done, and I'm not against people who do, okay? I'm not saying don't get your teeth done. I'm not saying don't pin back your ears. You know me, I'm a live and let live gal. You can do whatever you want. I'm just saying we need to dig deeper. We need to look at the why. We need to look at why was she getting the clap? Why was she being told now she's acceptable? Now she's pretty. That's not a good message to be giving a child. I mean, where does that end then? When she gets older, if she finds a spot in her face or she finds something in her body shape not right, like where do we draw the line with this? We have young girls and men, young boys, getting nose jobs and boob jobs and all kinds of jobs and crazy stuff going on. This is a symptom of a sick society that says you have to tick all these boxes and you have to pass this ridiculous plastic test of perfection before we can say you're okay and you're allowed. And you see, I've never been interested in that. I've always found that artificial, constraining, restrictive. So I've always been good at doing my own little thing, but that doesn't mean I didn't suffer from it. Like there was definite times in my life where I got abuse or I felt the wrath of, why aren't you playing along with this? Why don't you why don't you own your own home? Why don't you own 2 cars and have 2.4 children and be married? And da 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 da. I'll tell you why, because I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm genuinely satisfied with living from my soul and living from my heart space. And there's times I fall out of that like everybody else, but I always get back up, dust myself off and get back on the soul path, because that's where true satisfaction comes from. And that's what feeds me. That's what makes me say that noise at the end of the day. If you're a young person and you know what I'm talking about, or you have young people in your life and you're seeing them struggle with this, suicide is way too high in Europe with people under 25. Like, look, it's way too high with any age, but we need to look at the deeper issues. There's something at the roots of this that's going on that is, it's out of alignment. And I think it's important that we talk to people, we talk to everybody, especially young people and especially our children. And we talk about being kind, and we talk about, is it better to be socially right and accepted, or to be true and be authentic and be kind? These are the conversations we need to be having with children, with teenagers, with young people. It's really, really important. I care about humanity. I care about young people. I don't have any children, but I have family and I have friends with young children that I really care about. And I can see their suffering. I can see them wonder, why do I have to change my natural state or my natural way so that you can accept me. Because that's the wrong message. And it's a fundamental limiting negative belief that societies have, especially in the West. And I think it's time that in our whole humanness, as we are evolving, as we are moving into this deeper multidimensional state, that we are not afraid to open that conversation and to have those discussions. Yeah. That's all I got for you right now. I hope you're well. Please give this video a like. I'd love to hear your opinions on this. Have you noticed this with younger people? There was always pressures with young people to be a certain way, to do certain things, to, aim for the top college, wear certain clothes. But it's gone ridiculous. It's gone to a point where young people are afraid to walk outside the door in their natural, beautiful, youthful state, which is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I just want to send you love, whoever you are, whatever age you are, and to acknowledge that you do you. You express how you want to be in the world. Sing your song and dance your dance, and I will cheer you on. I'm always cheering you on.